Hello, and Julia from. I'm Stanzin Phunstog, and I'm uh, and I've been working as running this sustainable architecture of the Ladakh, and right now I'm speaking from Ladakh. Uh, Let me just show you around. So yeah, so this is from I'm speaking from my village. So this is right there. What you see right there is my village, and the mountain range you see there is a Karakoram range, and the river that is flowing this side is a Sechan river, and my like this my village is at the altitude of around like 10,000 feet, and yeah, so and about the which started from me doing like this sustainable. So yeah, so I'll be sharing you more. So yeah, I would like to tell a little more about the Ladakh, like where is because lots of people have lots of like misunderstanding about Ladakh since they look like some of our neighboring places. This Himalaya, and it is in the Trunks Himalaya. So because it is in the Trunks Himalaya, geography of the Ladakh is a little different. Uh, we don't get much rain in the area, and it's a cold desert area. So because of all that, our geography is totally different. Because our geography is different, that's why our culture and our language, food, way of doing, way of lifestyle, everything is little different. So but if you see other like that side of other side of the Himalaya, like Indian side of Himalaya, like Himachal and Uttarakhand and all, you might find lots of similarities with the mainland India, like food, language. They may speak Hindi and they may have lots of similarities food. But since we are in that side, this side of Himalaya, our like we are not really influenced by the mainland. But I'm not. So yeah, it's little difference. And what is a good thing about Ladakh? What was good is because we are on this side of Himalaya, the globalization and modernization is like it just hit us recently. I mean, it is not really like where if you see in like other part of the world, the modernization came very early. But if you see in Ladakh, the modernization just came like you can say 50 years ago. Because of that, we still have lots of things preserved in Ladakh, like culturally, or if you see like our ecosystem, everything is still preserved, but it's going, but it's still better. So yeah, so because of all this, so actually Ladakh mean lies the passes, like because Ladakh have lots of passes. That's my Ladakh mean like land of passes, because we have lots of passes in Ladakh, because lots of mountain ranges and lots of, so even to go to one place to another place, we have to cross passes and go, we have to travel. So yeah, so why Ladakh is special? As I told you, it's because the globalization and everything is not hit like I mean, it's not really influenced us badly. So yeah, so as living in Ladakh, like my spending my childhood in Ladakh, I have learned a lots of things. Like in Ladakh, what do you say? Like in here, if you see everybody on their own land. So when everybody on their own land, they grow their own food, and since they're living in village, they know lots of basic skill. I mean, they can build their own house, they can stitch their own cloth, farming, all the basic life skill that is needed. Like every Ladakhi will know that, because now in modern world, if you see, there are lots, you may have lots of support from outside world. There will be tailor, there will be hairdresser, there will be contractor to build. But in Ladakh, because I told you it's a remote and modernization just came now, there wasn't anyone who will do all this. But because of that, we do everything by our own. Everything by our own. That's why we learn all this basic life skill. So while living in Ladakh and growing up as a Ladakhi kid, I have all this with my parents and villagers. So villages are very small. It's not too big like how you will find in outside of Ladakh, where the villages are crowded and it's all connected. But in Ladakh, if you see, I'll just show, like, for example, if a village and like another village, there will be another village. So this, that is another village, and my village is somewhere there. So between this small small village, we know everyone like very well. All there's a any work like even the farming or any construction we do. Farming is a community farming, where if I have to harvest, if my family have to do harvesting, some people will come and help us, and then next day if they are going to harvest, we'll go and help them. So it's like helping each other. And if it's not just farming, any work that we have, community comes and help. So so for my interest for architecture started from my own childhood and from my own village, because I've been observing people building their own house with mud and constructing like with stone, mud and all. So I was, from a childhood, I was very interested to create something with my own hand. Actually, I always love to create something with, because with your own hand you like, whereas the, if you see like now, right now, what we are doing in this wall, we may work in the building like all. So you do your entire but you may not see much of tangible product, right? Yeah, sorry, just was talking, I was telling about the how I grew my architectures, especially in the mud architecture. Up doing now, right, little while that to create with my hand, and because I see the product right away. From there, I have developed my interest for this sustainable architecture from my childhood. So that was from the village. Uh, Along with that, I was also doing the normal schooling. So while doing schooling, I was planning to do architecture. But then while studying, and then I'm belonging to the Ladakhi family, where everything is so practical and everything is very, like, you see what, there isn't much theory. Whatever theory you learn from your elder or anybody, you practically you do and see. So I was not happy with this education system from the my like from my 8th standard, because I was always keen to understand what is really, if I'm studying science, there will be some like what you say theory, but after that I'll try to find something practical, like what can I do with this, where can I apply in my life. So like that, I've been always questioning about this education system, like how this education, what I am spending my entire day, actually, like from to 4 o'clock, I am spending my life, try to see what I can use it for in my real life. Then I don't see much of use. Meaning like that, like what's the use of this if I can't apply in my own life the education that I'm getting, because I'm spending most of my childhood, everything is gone in this schooling only. It in all this science and everything, but it was not really, because I'm a kind of guy who want to see the practical uh, like practicality of what I'm learning. So from there I studied till 10 11, then in between, after I think Then there's one school in Ladakh called Segmol. It's started by Sonam Wangchuk. He founded that. Segmol is it's just a course. It's not a school. It's a 1 year course after 10th, or those who fail their 10th. But I passed my exam. Still, I decided to go to Segmol, and I decided to take a gap year, since I was interested to explore more than just this theory and this just like mainstream education. So after 10, I went to Segmol for a 1 year. So when I went there, there I got more introduced to this architecture and practical learning, and in education, like education, because I was not happy with education, because Segmol their vision is more like that only, because Sonam started the Segmol saying, because schooling, the Ladakhi kids are not getting good education because he found that kids in Ladakh are very smart. As I told you the story of mine, that we learn everything practically in our own village. We know how to cook, we know how to farm, we know how to build a house, not like very perfectly, but we know basic of everything. So Sonam have seen this, and then he thought Ladakhi kids are very smart, but when it's come to the main academic or mainstream education, they're very weak, because that is not really relevant to what we've been seeing, and what is really our values actually. So he decided to start the Segmol, where for those who are rejected by the system of the schooling and all, who those who got rejected by this. So I went there for a 1 year. From there, they have lots of interesting thing there. So the whole campus is run by the student only. So there, every month there will be election, where they'll elect one coordinator, one secretary, which will be the main leader to run the whole campus, and they'll tell what to do, what not to do. And rather than that, there's a cow, there's a farm, so every month each student will be given one task. So suppose I'll be getting for 1 month I'll be doing the just taking care. I'll be taking care of the cow. So in which I have to milk the cow every morning and evening, and one guy who'll be taking care of the garden. He'll be doing everything. There won't be anybody to do, and there will be one guy who'll be doing the shopkeeping. So like that we learn practically. In school you may learn commerce. In commerce is all you may learn lots of theoretical of the commerce, but there they do the shopkeeper will learn to calculate and to find to like how to get the profit out of the goods they get. So it's all, even it's not just the like physical labor we do. That physical labor, along with that, there's some, what we say, we do the calculation, we do the documentation. So that is another thing. And rather than then, we get lots of volunteers there from all over the world. So from there we get lots of different perspective of the way of living there, what they do. Because if you see ways, there are lots of people do different kind of job. It's not just like engineer, doctor, and teacher. What we mostly talk, I don't know, in India or Ladakh, think this education and job system is new. That's why people don't know much of option like jobs and all, because jobs is very new. So people think engineer, doctor is only thing. But when we meet the wall, there are lots of people who do different kind of jobs. Some are doing this just storytelling, some are doing the babysitting and just earning, and they're doing babysitting for a while, and they're with that money they're traveling all around. So all this, we get different perspective of life. Like there are this kind of life also exists out there. So we are like forced to think more outside of the box. Otherwise before that we were just within the one box that is formed by some limited thought or limited people. So it's a new people, new energy, and a new idea we get. So I was there for a while. So all that learning happened there. For my whatever you say hatred for the main schooling, the schooling system it become more stronger. I did not like the schooling much more after that, because I always wanted to learn more practically. After that I was more then in Segmol is where they do lots of experiment with this architecture, in mud architecture. So I was involved in that also for a while. Whenever there will be some opportunity with this building something, I'll be always want to join. So I used to join there a lot. So so there I kind of introduced, for me it was a spark, actually first spark of my life to do something different rather than just normal schooling and do the like go through the same schoolings, go through the like mainstream way to do something in your life, because that's what people have decided now. Like if you want to do something, it's a common, it's a one way only now. First you go to the school, then you go to the college. That's the only way you can do something. Also exists. There were lots of what do you say, there are lots of learning also in, I think in the like outside of, there's a gurukul system, like same in Ladakh there's some learning was always there. School, now we, when we see school, we only, when we think learning nowadays, we think only school is the only place where we can learn, but that is not true. That four wall is very, like it's very small for us to teach lots of things, because that is only limited within that box only. But when we go outside of this four wall, we learn more, and we learn more practically. We learn by ourselves, because we are in school, we don't learn by ourselves. There will be one guy standing at the blackboard or whiteboard, they'll be telling you this is the fact, and that will be mostly fact only, just fact. It won't be observation, it won't be like practical what you learn. So after Segmol, that is just for 1 year. Then I again continued my 11th after that in Leh only. So there, because now my feeling, I've understood, not I've what do you say, for myself, I've understood lots of things about me, what I want to do, and what I don't want to do, and for mostly with this education only. So that was, as I told you, Segmol was a sparking point for me. So I always used to question also. Even before that, I used to question actually before Segmol. Then in 10, what happened while studying this 11, I had a small argument or something with the teacher, because I used to ask lots of questions while while they teaching, but they, lots of teachers don't like, because the ego get hurt. Because when that's true, when your student try to or pretend to be smarter than teacher, that's not good. So I used to ask question, and one day what happened, I asked a question to the one our physics teacher, and he did not like it. So there one scene happened where we had a big argument, and then some, like it was a big scene there. So I fought with them, and then right after that, I wrote a letter. Actually, I wrote a letter to our main. We have a Hill Council in Ladakh. Right now, it's a UT. It's Hill Council is still there. So a Hill Council, that Chief Executive Councillor CEC. I wrote a letter to him saying about our school. Actually, that time, because that time I was very frustrated about with this schooling, and so I wrote a letter to him saying that whatever these guys are teaching, they are not really teaching well. It's all just they come and just give us note, and even the schooling infrastructure was not really good. So I just wrote a complaint letter to him, and then right next day, I think he came, or I don't know, some from the education department, he have sent the some department officer to do a sudden check. So but then unfortunately I was not there on that day. I wish to be, I want to be there. I somehow school. Then he sent some official, and then again, because some teachers used to teach well and may used to do their job well, but some did not, because it's a whole this system whole system is actually, because this teacher, the textbook and everything is not so interesting to teach only, because they have to teach same thing again and again for their entire life. So they get, so I'm not blaming the teachers, it's the whole system which is like sucks. So the textbooks are not really interesting, it's just boring. So I think it may be boring for them, that's why they are not really teaching well, and they are not explaining the each fact well. So I had a big scene there. Then after the 11th, then I decided to leave the school and join again another school, because some teacher got very tense and all that. Yeah. So after that, I went to the Shimla for my 12th. So for there again, but schooling. So there again, I had some scene with again a same problem I had with the one teacher. I fought with that guy. Our one in between, I decided I left in Shimla, because I fought with that teacher, because he was not really not about not really the half of the season was gone, but he did not came in class for one time. Do is he used to give punishment, and he used to tell lots of his stories only. Like, but I'm not complaining person, but I'm telling that the schooling system is like that. It's not very designed well, like, because the schooling system, I guess, I think most of people may know, the schooling system is just to train the same people for the some require, because they train us so that we can fit in this some big companies or big corporation, like this big corporation need, like, whatever. Even we may feel engineer means wow, it's a big deal, doctor mean a big deal, whatever we are, but at last we are a servant of someone. We may be we may be the pay well or whatever, but yeah, all this is for the they train so that we can be useful for them only. So all school system is just like it us. Yeah, so I have to leave that again. That was in between. I was looking for some alternative learning, but still, again time I have this strong interest on this architecture. So even while like designing, I used to do calculation of everything, because like for calling in, because it was my interest. That's why I was learning all this by my own. So after that, I was looking for an alternative, how I can learn this architecture, and how I can learn what I want to learn in my life, and not just architecture, how I can get more learning out of some space, because school was not really a place to learn something, because it's not really interesting place for like those who really willing to learn. Maybe for some people who don't give a shit about, like, maybe just go with the flow, okay, what comes on the way, for them it may be good, because, but for someone who friend and who on learning and all. So yeah, then I was looking for this like alternative. Then there's a one institute Palampur called Sambhavna in Himachal, rethinking development workshop. So there my one of my friends were there, so he invited me there. So when I went, people, because in this, yeah, internet is gone. So yeah, in that Sambhavna, I met lots of people with lots of people who are doing lots of interesting thing. So there I met one guy from Swaraj University. Swaraj University, the one Khoji, they call Khoji. He told me his story, familiar with mine one. So he was not really happy with, not system, the way of teaching. So there, practice. After that, I went to the. Then I decided there's no other option for me, because in this main, if you don't like this college, you go there. Lots of option, but the alternative, there isn't much. There isn't much of this option. So I just decided whatever, just one I found, so I won't miss this opportunity. So I decided to go to the Swaraj University. So then I went to Swaraj University, and then there it's a, so there what I have done is the place, there's no restriction, there's no classroom and all, but it's not like a main school. There won't be classroom, and there won't be one person to tell you that to tell you to teach you. One, there won't be, like in school, there's only one person who will be standing and he'll be talking. There won't be much option you to talk and you to tell, you to express your feeling. But there it was a community. First of all, there was a community. So there was a, they won't take much of coaches or student. It's, yeah, sorry, again it's got disconnected. So yeah, Swaraj, then there as I was telling, it's a place where you can learn anything and you can explore anything along with the community. So main thing was there was the community. So while in school you don't really find community. It just because in school they force you to do competition. So you have to be fast, you have to do the topper in class, you have to compete with them. So it's all about the competing, and you have to or not you have to feel superior or not inferior. These two feeling will be always there in school, and even the teacher will be telling you, if you do this you will be this, if you do you will be like a super rich engineer, doctor. If you don't study well you will be ended up, and they'll give you lots of like what do you say, like advices which is not true, like saying if you don't study you will end it up like your parents. So even they may be Ladakhi, they may be parents of someone, but they consider our own culture. All of them, I'm not blaming the teacher. So but they say you will end it up like your parents mean they are farmer, they're self what do you say, they're kind of self like learner and like self sustainable. Everything whatever we talk about, all good thing in this world, they were like that only. So they'll tell us like that, if you don't study well you'll end it. So all that is not really like what you say good thing. But where in Swaraj again, that community will be there. There won't be any competition, there won't be, it's all like together. Whatever we have to learn, we'll learn together. If I'll be doing some architecture project there, so I'll be doing, whoever is interested they may join with me, and I'll be doing that project. And at the end of the when I'm done with that project, I'll be sharing what I have learned and what I have done mistake. And even my community will be there, some of my best mates will be there. Then they'll be telling me, they'll be observing me also. So they'll be telling me that from their eyes, like a different perspective, you are little lazy while you are not really committed, or they'll be giving me lots of input like which will help me to do better what for next time. But wherein if you see in mainstream, it's not like that at all, discouraging. And they want actually to share what you're feeling all. So that all there for a while, explore quite a bit of this sustainable living mean I have explored some then uh, or a lot. It was there, you can do whatever you want. It is not really like environment where you will feel always like a low and inferior, because school is a place where they'll make you feel inferior only if you're not doing well. Even if you do well, there will be always something to compete about, because that competition never get over. You may be on the top, but there will be always someone, so that never get over. Be satisfied with yourself, what you know and what you don't know. So if you are like that, then you may be happy, but environment is not really like yet like specially. So there I have done this all. So they so one of the like very interesting thing I like is cycle yatra. They did something called cycle yatra. So cycle yatra is just an experiment to see like to go around the village and without any money, any gadget, and some limited resources. That was just one blanket and one set of cloth. Just with that, we went for a trip of around the Udaipur, around the village, around the Udaipur villages. We went on a trip of 7 days without, because when money come in between there, we don't really build a relation, because money talk in between. Because if you want to, if you have money, you may, I'll give you money, you give me that help or material or whatever. Money is talk. When it come to the like without money, like how initially it was, I told you earlier that in Ladakh it's all like helping each other, and it's not the like, because I told you, in farming is like together. So without money, so we went to village. So when we went and when it's about to like get dark, so we'll stop somewhere them saying that we have come from the we our like without money and all. So we'll tell we'll do some work for you, and can you give us accommodation. We work with them in building some building or caring or in farming or whatever work was there, we did along with the villager. And there was very, because lots of myth may be there about the villages. They are poor, they may not be able to afford us. They were poor maybe, like but their heart was very generous. Whatever they have, like, I think equally, not equally, like more for us. So that was very like interesting, and a very interesting thing for us, because sorry again, the network is not really. I was telling about the cycle yatra. So that was a very one of the interesting event that happened during that Swaraj journey. Uh, Adventurous experience, and we have seen the real villages in Rajasthan and all. So it was very interesting, and like it gave us like that kind of breaking the whatever myth we have about the villages, and saying people won't help you, but they were very helpful. And as I told you, so that was one of the very interesting event during the Swaraj. Like that, they used to do lots of like small even they'll one day they'll just send us to the village without one, because we were staying in a campus, food there. So they'll say try and go to village and try to connect with them and get food there also, go in there. So like that, we'll try again. So we'll try to build a relation with the villager, we'll talk with them. So there's a lots of scope to build connection. It's not just the money which is so that was one interesting thing. uh, so it's a 2-year course in which you have to be in camp, talking about your interests, your inner journey, what you are going through, and your interests. And then community will be also observing you. So they may tell you, I found that you are like quite interesting, quite like interested in cooking. So they'll give us lots of feedbacks and comments. So for 2 months we'll be doing like that, like what do you say, reevaluating ourselves and all that. After 2 months, mentorship and internship. If I'm interested in this architecture, they'll find some architect contact who is practicing this mud architect. So they'll send us there, and I'll be with them for 2 months. So I learn from the learning only. It's the same school or college, whatever, in a very friendly, like that's. It's not just like this, because I think in job we have very limited job option. Like as I told you, engineer, doctor, teacher, IT profession, but there are a lot more than that we can do in the this thing. So there, in my batchmate, there were lots of people who were doing different things. There was a one girl who were interested in storytelling. One was very interested in cooking, and in farming, in gardening. One was doing recycling material, use recycle, and to stitch the bags and all. So yeah, like that, there are lots of interesting was they were doing. So it's not just it's like limited by this. Whatever you are interested in, turn that into hobby and do that only, rather than telling you that this, that if you get more money, but not if you love this job, you do that. Because if you are happy, you'll be able to do more progress in that. So we know all this what we say, this advice or what, this all thing we know, but we don't apply much. But there they make us do all this. So I've explored quite a bit of during that this nature of building. And also initially even during that time, lots of what do you say, it's not like always smooth journey, because when you go through your internal journey, and when you go and like search, and when you like mess up with your feeling inside, messed up mean, I mean, you talk about it, you share about it, and then people comment on your feeling. Then in school you don't do, that's why you don't like really connect, and people, the other person don't feel very artificial secure, because nobody know anything weak about you, anything like that is we. So slowly you will become one. Everybody know everything about me, my weaknesses, my bad habit, and everything. So like that you become more like real secure and real confident, because otherwise you will be just secure or confident surface level, because it's all fact, because deep inside there are lots of things which has not come out, it's all fact, but there it's all open, and you can, it's like it's transparent only. So yeah, all that also happened. Like I'm telling, it was not really smooth journey, but that smooth journey, it was not smooth journey, but that is a smooth journey. Like it's always like there should be some time where some even it should break your myth, your all beliefs, your attitude, everything, all that should happen while you are like this, like below 20, because once we do something professionally, then then we don't really, but that like below 20, you can like mess up with yourself, and you can learn, and you can find out lots of images of your own, because other you may have one image of your, like if I'm SP or whatever, I may be just this mud architect or whatever, that will be just a one picture for yourself. But that's what happen in this mainstream because if you're a doctor, you're just a doctor. If you are working as a manager, you're just a manager. But that's not true. You may be doing that job for one time, but along with that you may be really good at other thing. You may be really good at cooking, you may be really good at repairing something, you may be really good at connecting people. There will be a lot of other skill in this mainstream we don't really value, or we don't really to like talk about, but there it was there. So there for this architect for a while, this mud architect for a while. Then I went to places to, I went in different part of the India to learn this thing in different places for a while. And after that I started taking project by my own. So one of my batchmate from the Swaraj, we together started some, I was doing before her, but then later she joined because so we started called Art Building. That is our kind of company. I've given a link above for that our what we have done. So we have started taking the project. The first project we have done. Before that, I've done some small project, but our biggest, like that was our big project that we have taken. That was my colleague house. Her together, and we did as a workshop. So whatever we do now, because what we do is whenever we take project, we in workshop mean lots of architect student, engineer student interested in building or building with mud. So we'll put up in our FB page saying we are doing this. You can come and join us. So when they come, we teach them. We let together we do, and again there communities form, because a group of people will be there. There will be taught. It's a connection. Like again the mainstream architect project, if they do, there will be one guy who will be sitting back, and he'll be doing the designing, and he'll send that to the client. And there will be another guy mostly, or some may do directly. There will be some executor again. So there won't be any connection between what you are doing on paper and what is going to build. There won't be any connection. So because of all this disconnection, it's not just architecture field, whatever job that we are doing right now in this wall, like in this manager or whatever job we are doing, there won't, whatever you're working, it's something to create at the last. I mean, it is about creating, or it is about getting some product, but you don't see that product right away. So that's kind of irritating. So but there what we do, we build along with this participant, and they learn practically. They might have get lots of theories in their colleges and all, but they learn the real, like, practical practicality, like, what do you say, all that they have to see, like if they have to use plumb box, how the whether the wall is going straight or not, they'll be doing by their own. And whether the plumb line, tube leveling, and how we do to understand the material. So all that, if you are an architect or a builder, whatever, when you can build by yourself, then you will be really good at executing, because you know better. If you don't know anything, if you don't have any practical, like, knowledge, you may have some training to how to execute labor, how to execute a project, but to really well won't be able to execute, because you don't have idea how things really work. When you do by your own, then, because I know if mason is not like placing the stone well, because I know by myself, because it shouldn't be like that. So I may tell the stone shouldn't go vertically, like all the line. We should cut the stone, like as masonry they say, if one stone is placed above stone, we should. So I know that because I build, or that's why like, you have practical knowledge before the doing this, interesting for you. So like that we do with this participant. So yeah, how we've done one project in Coimbatore. We have built an art. It's around like a build there. That was our first biggest project. There was new to this new to technique technique, like a concrete house. It's very easy, because there's no change in the internet. Everything ratio won't change. Change little. This whole, all the principle and everything is same. But we are in this. Wherever you go, whenever you go to different places for a new project, you have to study the soil. You have to study their climate, material that is available, because this natural building, like eco-friendly, making it more eco-friendly. So if you want to make it eco-friendly, we have to see what material is locally available first, because why cement is bad is because what we are doing is we are getting, it's again went off. So yeah, all that, I think it's not really important that what I have done and all this, but still I'll share little. So that was a one project in Coimbatore with the participant we built, and after that we have built like little more somewhere in Mumbai, Alibag, and then somewhere in Ladakh we have built, and then again in, like that we build in quite different places in, like, so yeah. And it's gone again. I think I'll conclude like only. So that is all about project, and my project details on our FB page on art building. The whole is way of learning. You may not. The lots of people. The mainstream is the mainstream, where everybody is doing the same shit again, and it may be interesting for few people, but I think it's not the best way. You can be more happier, you can be more you'll be more satisfied if you choose different way in which you will be getting more what you want. So I'm trying to say that, so learning doesn't only happen in the school or college or anything. Learning happen more or practically or very effectively when you go out and experience by yourself and you do by yourself, because right, when you do by yourself you understand more. So you go around, you meet people, you do things whatever you love. So it's not about all, it's not just architect, whatever their interest is, yeah, like they can explore by themselves. So I think, yeah, it's all I want to say all about this schooling place Ladakh. So I think lots of people, lots of you may know Ladakh this time because this with this Chinese problem. Otherwise, I think people have lots of, as I told you, lots of misunderstanding with Ladakh. But this time, I think I'm sure people will know Ladakh. Lots of media it been covered like. So yeah. So yep. So I'll check if any question that I need to answer for a while. Show you. I won't show my face to you. You might have got bored with my phone now. My face. I'll show the view meanwhile. Actually, there isn't much. So yeah, I think Smriti want me to talk a little bit in Ladakhi. Okay, July. Tene ing daksanga ika kerna chizer pindena mangcha kerna chipedena ngati Ladakh khorang mona kerna mangsanga zukshit pinta del bo kerna. Wait, that's a big thing. Wait, I just forgot one thing. How I got to like how in this all thing for me, because before that I was living in a Ladakh. It's like the frog living in the well. When you're living in your own place, you have set of people around you. You have set of mind, set of thought. Like everything is around you is same. But when you go out of that place, I've been living in Ladakh for a while. Even though all that thing and practices are good maybe, but I did not realize, because when you have lots of things in abundance you don't really value. When you go out and when you don't have, when you are not with that, you see the value of that thing. So when I went off for the studies to I went out for around like almost for a 5 year. While traveling outside, then because it's a eagle view for me now, further from Ladakh I see that we have beautiful in Ladakh which are good in other places. I have learned what good is, what is not good. So all that realization, like all that love for my own culture and practicing what I am doing, it started because I went off little far. Then as I told you a lot. So yeah, that thing. Yeah, so naksanga zeret bin ki ngatang na yulnya po del mar chi be na nga ze daksa zeret nit bin nga Ladakh na ker nam ji ker na philo song gomanga na youth sana ngatang na chala de dam rin ji ngati cho miruk pa chi be na tang zeren du to radio na injo ngati sharing ngati lamlung ngati skat ngati zan shukshani nok zerzo mene khato na pat dulche sing mene khaza dat pe na yukti mir ko chi zeren ma zeren duk den be na khoi ker na chi jin ma laklen chakan ji dan be na khoi chik khoj ja chak gyurjam kan thong ma nam nga ta philo song gyar cho song ma jang te ende ka ma ri she ju chi be na gyagare khoryuk po go mata lungspo na khoryuk po de dam gyala me demo me te de tu jaga ngal daksa zer mera nam ji nga ta chalak po ma yo de tu jaga nga ta rin she ma ta philo song pa de khoryuk demo de lungspo le mo met pa ngati de song wa ngati yu po de rin mo ma skes gene gyagara song pa gyagara thugu re thong ru gara kerna gyagara thugu da ngati life skill da chinga zer min ki ngata basic life skill ma chang ma she no ma pek ma she na sik pek ro culture ji she no ra goslak chi cha chena de no jingbat pes ko la changma nyung chere she no ma philo asong tas ba she to mangcha she da miruk tawdo do mashes badan kan tenanga rin mo she chamna de kana khung chang mashe ya me kharji choche gi na mashe me tuk jana pala she da miruk me tuk che na mashe zukpang mapat dam shuk zo miruk chi bedana chungche na pala de nang tubji na un do bang tang kuin de street na kena de kuri apartment kuri de yogza bang tang ngatang rie dul balang kher jie tong bang skyang tan do ko somba zukpo chapik ngati kena shukchan na kena chit khunyan kan gyujet padang tenanga gyagara le pangai azong gyagara cha sana izuk mangcha izuk atmosphere jina du pin gara Ladakh pa yang pat me kan ngarang mene tangarang mene met pa gazuk singgir tu jana ngapa cha gazuk sose gyur cha mena khungje kena timing mina je pin de chik tani education kerena ka kera samba ni de yontane ka samba soso padanga renjo zer chin punzo wangdu zer chin yang dana cha kerena tazuk spe physical kerena strength po thong je kerena azuk zer cha mena superman ino khota su danet pat ngatang ma susek phecha mena ngarang cha ta po zer je mena ngajeng ngata darung gyagara duks pani shuks po na ni azuk po metkan song to magar Ladakh sa pat yula dukan jikta zuk spe shet na kerna lakshes na khashes chi sang ma kerna mario to tanga nyun jik shes kan ji philo song jang kerna exam sistang to duk koma na Ladakh na nok chi jang wa she no rie jakpang khusharot kya kharji jo she no dega na ma kharji jo ja she sta tik pa ko bucha in jang kharji jo she no zer yang spera so che me chi jana kuin yang culture na so ri or pa gyagar culture na pomo mene kharji mi cho pomo mene nang mi du che ma di Ladakh se na ti ma lam luk sor gyala no ki pomo pucha chang me kya pomo exam nak me kya ki pomo dahej wais ma nyok ngan mang po kya wa philo yule na da ngati yule na ma met pa no daksa cha ta daksa ngatang gyagar nya po duk se gyagar mainland nya po duk se chapik gyurja yoni no ta gyurja mi cha na rewan tene oda sang ma yot che ke na nga chek so so the jam na gyagar song wa kyorang zuk duk tene nga lakshes bo azo hun la nyun khangpa duk se yula duk se kana gara duk se shes pa dang ni interest po ke na nga da chi ze architecture ne sikpa pa zerba chok da building naksha choches sketches choches bonga chungche na mala chendu pni hans pa ngarang dega na odo kerana ma kerana denga durung kerana lopche jangche de kerana dot pas ke alternative university ja song Swaraj university la logic pindo nga chung ina no te chang ma chen kerana ben gyagara kana chun chan mo chen kerana taksa chakpa kerana je project khaji chun tena nga je chokpek zo zen nga na ke taksa nga link ode nga je last bo chang thong shi chan ngara chi cho sok tena technique po chi no tena nga je kitek jana ki mang cha yang su sam to design chang practical khuri kenar denbe laklene che kho samba mang cha yom no kho jana ta khu skon me no architect pe chi be jana inwa korang yot me ga de kana song da ka song te dor re borcha do mang cha kan mang po ku jano chon la lor nga go chos chang lop cha cha na nga da nga pho chi cho jana nga je lok se de workshop che zera mira workshop che san architect student na engineer student mang po yot chi jang ko lom malo na school de nga je lok se ko yang la yang gaw ke na architect na engineer ke na basic changar mo kharjis kolcha cha choose kolcha na fala basic po korang a college an law mi rok jeno plumb box kurches in chik leveling tube kurches in chik de sang lo mi rok jerje ozo je nokta onna o kirna interest banga mas ke chunan ngati Ladakh skuri kana de ngar sal bona de lakpe ngaje uzuk rechon in duksmin tene ngaje odo chen nya po kirna gyagara daksa ngaje gara project ne na nya po kung uzu janma lawen jik chet tene ne dak na da success ati mitse phutang na farmers po de chicho jana de in te men nga daksa zere mena chang ata shesring na culture po zere ndu no chon la nan jok po na de zere ndu choren ma na answer tu chon la chang nastak ji madang kan dar den be na ken laglen chu jabo nam ati kharji shukshane no de kan tene there's an rak tene thukje che mar irgi che pe ni ngari ker na timeline ga chan the dine kerna post ne ta ngari score la samba samsul then yeah okay so I think I'm all done about this live.